All right, the meeting will start at 9:03. Looks like we have everybody in attendance today.
We
And
just had one join us. Hi, Connor. Go ahead and unmute. You're here for 18 Western, I believe. Are you there, Connor?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, I'm setting
Okay.
up the audio settings.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead and mute. We're about to start.
okay, so technically we have no chair at this moment, so we need to nominate and elect a chair for the this upcoming year. So at this point, we take nominations and then we will vote.
I nominate Daniel.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any other nominations?
I don't think I'm allowed to vote, but
Anyone?
if I were, it would be Daniel.
No other nominations. I request that the nominations be closed and a unanimous ballot be cast for Daniel.
Okay, thank you for the vote of confidence. Thought I had an out there for a moment, but here we go. Thanks, guys.
I saw Paulina's hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Paulina.
Haven't
right,
met you in person yet, but you are all very nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now that we officially have a chair, we need to add one more item to the agenda, and which will be the dates for our last meetings of the year, and we'll put that at item 18. So give some thought to that as we get through this meeting.
Are you going to do that as part of 2A?
If it makes bookkeeping easier, we can do that.
Yes, please.
Okay. So that will just be a part of 2A. That's okay.
But you need to do 1B first.
Right, yeah. So we will not have an item 18.
No,
Correct.
I mean, it will be an 18, but you'll add it when you when you approve the agenda.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Item 1B will be, we've got our, John needs to be re-added to our group. So we need to send his name if we all agree to the full board for approval. All in favor of sending John's name forward? Say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. Let's see what the board has to say about it, John.
I
You aware
dare
of the
them to.
initiation ritual?
What's that?
You aware of the initiation ritual?
I haven't told him about that yet. I'll tell him the day before.
And
Okay.
the tattoo.
Wait a minute, I've been here for 6 months, dudes.
Not officially. Okay. Okay, so 2A, we're going to approval of today's meeting agenda with the added date discussion included as part of item 18. Can I get a motion?
A motion to approve item 2A, right? For as submitted the agenda.
With the
So
addition of item 18 for the
With
date.
the addition of item 18.
All
for
in
the date.
favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. It's like Simon says for John today. All right, that's unanimous. All right, 2B, consent agenda for approval of the 10/17 ACC meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will abstain since I was not at the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Ian. Okay, well, let's join Pauline.
okay, hold on just a second. We had Rubicon join. Looks like Chad. Hi, Chad. Go ahead and unmute and tell us what address you're here for. I believe it's 6 and 7. You there, Chad? We are not hearing you. Looks like you're unmuted.
It is 6 and 7,
Yeah,
Rubicon.
you want to move forward, Diane?
Sure, hopefully he can resolve his issues.
I'm certain he will. Okay, let's go to item 9 then with Pauline. Okay, this was the one with the removal of some trees, including a nice drawing of the situation. Any comments on this?
So Paulina is the neighbor and the trees are actually on her neighbor's property.
Yeah, it looks like we got consent from a few neighbors here. Is that correct?
Yes, it's the trees are on the other side. Yeah, it's on the neighbor's property, and he agreed with the removal of the trees. They're older trees, and they're actually growing on an angle that is on the house, and in the future they will be hugging my house.
Yeah, you sent some good information for us, the
Thank
arborist
you.
report and the photos, which were very helpful.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, Paulina is here on behalf of 4 Whistling Swan.
Right.
If
Well,
there's,
I will, I'll say, I appreciate it's a very thorough application and, well done and documented, so I would be ready to make a motion if the committee's done discussing.
Go ahead, Dan.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the tree removal as submitted.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Thank you,
Thank you.
Pauline.
Thank you.
Okay, we've had somebody join. Hi, let's see. Hi, Norman. Can you go ahead and unmute and let us know what address you're here for? Are you there? I believe he is here for 13 Honeycomb for the generator.
Item 10.
Norman, are you there? Looks like you're unmuted, but we're not hearing you. I hope we don't have some kind of problem because he's the second one that has having the problem.
Do you want to move forward and have
Sure.
them work it out, or do you need to work with them, Diane?
Well, when we get to them, we'll need to work it out.
Okay. All right, let's go with Connor. Item 16, 18 Western Lane.
I'm right here.
Connor? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Any comments or questions about this one, committee?
Connor, could you please describe what you have in mind here? Your drawings are pretty clear. It just it might be good for you to weigh in on it.
Yeah, I'm hoping to basically add a little bit of gravel to the left side of the driveway to allow 2 cars to park side by side. It's within the amount allowed by the conservation easement, and it's well under all the open space requirements. It wouldn't go all the way down, so it wouldn't interfere with the Sun Valley right away. It would just go to the edge of my property line.
That's approximately 3 feet by 20 feet. And it looks like you said you're going to add, move some bricks or some kind of paving stones and black plastic bark edging.
Yep. Yeah, so there's currently black edging that holds the bark in place, and then there's a metal strip for the gravel and then paving stones for the edge of the driveway. And I was basically planning to move all of those over 3 feet to still have all the required edging, separating the bark and gravel.
And it looks like there's no vegetation or any tree roots or anything in that area. Is that correct?
Correct. It's just bark.
It's pretty straightforward to me.
Keep
Yeah, me
going,
too.
John. Keep going and make the motion.
You can make a motion, John.
Oh, okay. Unless there's more discussion?
Wait,
Motion
wait,
to-
wait, can he make a motion if he's not on the committee?
I'm pretty sure that I can make a motion in the board, but I can't vote.
Okay, just checking.
Why don't we have someone else make the motion, and then we don't have to worry about this.
Okay,
Easy.
I'll move to approve.
All right, Patrick steps up. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Opposed? Okay, Connor, you're good.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks. How's Norman doing over there, Diane?
He just re-signed in. Let's try again. Allow to talk is not available because is using an older version of Zoom Workplace. Okay, I have to promote him to a panelist in order to let him speak. Shall I do that?
As long as he doesn't abuse the privilege.
Okay, hold on. He's over there.
I think he was. He said he was on the ACC at one point.
Yeah, it's his way in, I guess. All right. It's saying that he will be rejoining as a panelist. He needs to update his Zoom feature. Still don't see him. Let's see. There he is. All right. Norm, go ahead and unmute.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Jim,
Let me delete him from the other side. Hold on. Remove. I think he's signed on twice, and that's the problem. Okay. All right, you there? Norm? Norm, are you there?
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Okay, we can hear you. Are you there? Can you hear us? I just heard him say, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I heard that too.
He's got to update his Zoom. He probably tried to go buy the update thing.
I had those problems too when I tried to launch today.
Me too. That's, yeah.
Well, when I first joined, my Zoom was out of compliance or whatever. It wasn't the current version, so I had to update it. So maybe that's what Norm needs to do.
Yeah.
Go offline and update it and then join us later.
Okay, I'm going to remove him again. All right.
Well, we know Jay is there, right? Jay, you with us?
I sure am.
You have
All right,
Jay and Chad.
Okay, Jay. Item 15, 21 Lost Fork Lane.
Yes.
We've not seen this property yet, have we?
Well, this is a fan favorite.
We have a rap sheet on this house.
That's right.
No.
It has the most number of submissions ever.
I believe it.
Okay.
Which is
Um,
that's nobody's fault, of course. I'd like to just say, Jay, that our previous conversation was quite productive, and we really just wanted some more narrative, which you have supplied. So the committee really appreciates that extra effort. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
the only question I have, or actually two questions. One was the integration of the retaining wall in the back with
Yes.
the existing concrete. We were concerned about the aesthetic approach you were going to take to that, and I can't quite tell what's going on here. It looks like you built right in front of it, and then that existing wall is sort of above it. And isn't that like a concrete wall?
You're looking at page
Yeah.
9, Daniel?
But
Page 9 is what you're looking at?
let's see. I'm looking at a lot of different pages. Is 9 the best one to look at?
It's got
Page
the
9 has
photos.
the before and after pictures.
Yes. I would recommend page 9 as well. There's a section, a cross section detail. And then there's the corresponding photos of before, when it was just the concrete retaining wall, and after, where we have the block wall that intersects it, as per the connection detail diagram.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was reading from this. There's no real integration into that wall, though, is there? I mean,
There is. The integration is through the rebar, that they're like, there's like rebar stems that come up through that block wall there.
okay, well, I was more concerned with the aesthetic integration. I understand it's probably a solid wall. I have no reason to doubt that. My concern originally was how are these going to look together? It looks like there's a
Yeah.
little disconnect.
Right. Actually, there's really not any disconnect at all. I did send quite a few photos over to Diane, because I know that the property tour, it is, with all the rain we've had, it's pretty slick, and it's pretty messy to get up there. So I actually have a few more detailed photos queued up. Just to because I had a feeling this would come up. You wanted to see a little more detail of what that wall looks like.
Yeah.
I'm forwarding that over to Diane right now. I don't know if that's something
Can
she
you-
wants.
Can you go ahead and share your screen, Jay?
Oh, sure, I could do that. Let's see. Let me find that option. Where is that option in my my Zoom space?
Hold on, I'm gonna promote you to,
Okay.
I'm gonna promote him to panelist. That will probably help.
Getting a lot of promotions today.
Yeah.
I love it.
Giving
Okay.
it a- all right.
Great. Okay, now I see an option. I should have an option for more. Well, I think I had to turn my video on. I think.
Not sure.
I don't know either. Let's find out.
Oh, hi there.
There's me. Hi, guys. So let's see if I can do a screen share.
There should be a share button at the bottom. It's green.
There it is. Okay,
Okay,
great. I'm going to pick the screen to share. Can you guys see that?
not yet. Make sure you're checking the right screen on your,
Here it comes.
all right. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
So that is a super close up of how the block wall intersects the existing concrete wall.
Okay.
Blocks are cut to fit. There is, right where my cursor is, there's rebar stems that come up through this block wall. And then the rest of it is per the detail. Let me see if I can get over to, and that's the far side of the wall where that block wall comes out past the existing retaining wall. Let's see if I have one more. Yeah, and that's the top there. There's drain rock in there, and then it's concreted in. It's hard to see, but there's actually a little drainage sort of tube that comes down, and that connects to the downspout tight line as well.
So that's concrete we're looking at there?
It's a concrete fill on the top just to kind of pull everything together, but we do have drain rock underneath it.
Okay. Is that how it's finished?
This is how it's finished, yes.
Okay.
And what's that vertical black, looks like a bar?
That's a tamper. That's
it's
just,
a-
yep. That's
Fits
just
it
a
in there.
tamper
It
to
looks like
tamp everything down.
Looks like it got stuck in the concrete.
I don't know, it's still wet.
So that's still wet. Okay.
And did you
Yeah.
did you get that tree removed up in the upper right? Yeah, beyond that concrete wall?
No, that's on the agenda as soon as we get a break in the weather.
Got it.
Yep.
Daniel,
So
I have two questions.
Go ahead, Dan.
One, does the county permit allow for that retaining wall to basically be built up against the house? One. And then two, looking at our notes from the July meeting, we asked for the retaining wall plan to be submitted with an engineer's stamp. Does this retaining wall, which is abutting the house and is of considerable height, does it have an engineer? Did we get an engineer's approved plan for this retaining wall?
We do not, and that is in my submittal packet in the narrative. And I'm sure, as you guys know, when we have an engineer, when we have a wall, a retaining wall that's under 4 feet, structural engineering is not required. And that is called out in my project narrative and also on the site plan itself. As far as this wall being approved by the county, yes, this retaining wall has been approved by the county. It's on our county approved site plan. And we've had no issues. We've had the county inspections multiple times throughout the course of the project and have not had any issues.
That doesn't seem like the optimum way to handle a retaining wall. Is there any reason why you had to put it right up against the structure?
Yes.
It looks awkward.
It does. And this all comes back to, if you remember, we got to go a ways back, the property above us. One of the many difficulties in this project is that their sewer line actually came down right near this back corner of the house and actually cut across the footprint of our foundation. Nobody knew it until we started our dig out and ran into their sewer line. There were numerous delays, and we ended up rerouting that sewer line to get it out across the back part of our property and then out to connect downstream where it's supposed to. So we ended up rerouting that at our expense and the time delay, and that is also what triggered the whole tree thing. That tree is right above us as well, which is another that's another contributing factor of why this is the way it is. And I agree.
Daniel,
go ahead, Dan.
This wall, I mean, it looks like a nice wall. Are these standard 8-inch bricks?
I believe so. Yeah, the blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I count from the ground level, I'm assuming there's some below that, but if I count from the ground level, I see anywhere from 6 to 8, which at or 10, which at 10 different intervals at 8 inches, I'm 6'2", and that would be over my head. So this appears to be more than a 4-foot wall at its lowest spot. So I don't know why that wouldn't require engineering. I mean, is there rebar through that wall? I guess it doesn't really matter. That would be an engineer's call, but it's not a 4-foot wall.
Well, it's definitely. Have you been out to see it, Dan? Oops. Have you been out to see it? Okay.
No, but I'm looking at a picture, and it's more than a 4-foot wall.
Yeah. Well, I assure you, it's not. This is definitely not above 4 feet. And even if we're looking at it at the height of it here, these are 2 separate walls.
Just do the math. I'm just doing the math. If they're 8-inch bricks, there's 8 layers of that, 8 times 8 is 64. That's 5.5 feet.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
um,
you can assure me all you want, but math hasn't changed in 10,000 years, Jay.
right. And I appreciate that, but I've been on site several times. Both Daniel, and Alan have been out on site.
What if those aren't 8-inch blocks?
Yeah, and I can't confirm that they are not 8-inch blocks. I don't know.
Well,
If they weren't, it'd probably change.
If they're not, then it's not an issue. It just, I mean, I don't think I would be comfortable as close as that retaining wall is to the back of the house, butted up against the house. By all appearances, it's more than 4 feet. I'm not comfortable approving something that doesn't have engineer's plans when our July 18th meeting required stamped engineered plans on the retaining.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that, but other than the wall's not over 5 feet or 4 feet. Sorry, it's simply not. And
Well, what we'd be approving, Dan, I think is, based on what we see in the submission. So if that's wrong, then it's, we're approving the 4 feet that we see in the submission, not what, what we're looking at here. It's, we've got the numbers here. 4 feet, if it's 5 feet, that wasn't approved then. Because I'm looking at the paperwork, and that's why we wanted you to give us, a document that we could sign and approve, and that's what we see here. But that is a really.
That's my concern is that it says it's not a 4-foot wall, but looking at the picture, it would appear to be more than a 4-foot wall. I think it would be worth verifying the height of that wall at its minimum and maximum.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm assuming this is something Joel would look at once we approved a 4-foot wall, and if it's 5 feet or 4 feet and a half, then we'd have some serious issues that Joel would bring to us. That's all I can go by. I mean, I can probably accept that maybe they're a 6-inch brick. I'm not sure. That could be a way out. That would make sense. But what we have here in paper, it says it's a 4-foot wall. So that's what I'm going to go by. Does that work for you, Dan?
No, I'm looking at a wall that by all appearances is probably more than 4 feet. So I can't vote to I mean, all the other parts are fine, but when I look at, we required stamped engineered plans, and we don't have stamped engineered plans, and all we have is the builder telling us that this is not a 4-foot wall on a fairly notorious project. I'm not comfortable with that. If everybody else wants to go forward, that's fine, but at least on the retaining wall, I'd want to see stamped engineered plans. I don't want my name associated with any retaining wall and this close to that back of that house, and somebody buys that. If I was buying that house, I'd want to see stamped engineered plans on that retaining wall that's literally up against the house.
I appreciate that. Nope, that's fair. If this was over 4 feet, we would be required to have stamped engineered plans, and there's absolutely I have no pushback against that at all.
I guess I don't like conditional approvals, Dan, but I don't even know that I like this, but conditioned on Joel going out and measuring that retaining wall and ensuring that it's less than 4 feet, and that if it's not approved.
Well, I think that's implied because everything we see in written and that he's provided for us indicates that it is 4 feet. We could alert Joel to confirm that, and if it goes beyond that, then there's an issue. So what I'm seeing is I'm proving what I see in the drawing. That's how I see it. So that that your concern, I think, is implicit in our process.
Yeah, and I guess I would be probably with you if I wasn't looking at a picture that indicated it was probably 8 to 10 bricks high, which would be more than 4 feet, because those look like I mean, they could be given the camera angle, they could be 6-inch bricks or even 4-inch bricks, but
Well,
looking at
is
looking
page
at where
9
that
the same wall, or did you add to this wall that's on page 9, Jay?
Page 9 is the same wall.
Because it looks like there's a different number of bricks here.
Oh,
One, two.
in the photo? No, I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to count bricks in the photo to match up to what's there. That section detail is here's a block wall. It's what would you say? It's for
I'm looking at the picture on page our exhibit, and you may have something different, but
yeah.
Our page 9 of 10 has a picture of a block wall, and as a frame of reference, I see what looks like a 5-gallon bucket down there below the framing of the house, which would be level with the ground. Those are 2-foot tall buckets.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta. I'm not convinced this is not more than a 4-foot wall, Daniel. That's all. I would be happy to be proved wrong.
Yep.
But everything, my eyes are telling me this is more than 4 feet, at least based on the pictures.
No, I got you. I have no problem with Joel coming out to check it. Not a problem.
Do you have something in your documentation for when you purchase the bricks to determine what size they are?
I'm sure I've got receipts for the brick somewhere. I don't have it in this documentation that states what the dimensions of the bricks are. Not in this documentation. But I mean, the wall's there. I mean, anyone can go see it at any time. You know, we can put a tape measure on it. Joel can come out. I'd be happy to meet him to take a look at it. Totally fine.
Are you considering those 2 separate walls, Jay?
Well, they are 2 separate walls. That's for sure.
That may be what's causing confusion, because it's one 4 foot and the other one's under 4 foot. They're both under 4 foot, but they're stacked.
Right. That is correct. I mean, if you look at, page 9, that retaining wall, it's sort of, benched, doesn't exceed 4 feet. Yeah, and then we've got a block wall that intersects it. And it just, when you're looking at the walls, separate walls, yeah, nothing breaches 4 feet. That is what.
But that original retaining wall, I'm looking at a picture. That original retaining wall from the footing to the top of the wall, it's a stepped retaining wall. From the footing to the top of that retaining wall is well over 4 feet. So I'm not buying that original retaining wall, the one that's butted up against the house, that's leaning up against. Bricks were set on top of that, but that original retaining wall is over 4 feet. And by all appearances, the new block retaining wall is also above 4 feet.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Dan. They're not. They're like this. These are separate walls, and in any instance of an individual wall, none of them are over 4 feet.
Well, like I said,
well, maybe we should get
are,
verification from Joel before we approve
older,
this.
But I mean, if you look at that's what I would feel more comfortable with. I mean, if we were talking about a slope of a driveway or a color of a wall or a painting on a door or something, I don't give as much of a crap about that, because that's not structural. Right. I mean, this is a significant structural issue, and that retaining wall, given the slope of that wall behind the house, if that retaining wall is the size that it appears to be on the picture, which maybe it's not, but if that retaining wall is the size that it appears to be on the picture, that thing needs to be engineered. There needs to be rebar. There needs to be footings and rebar through that thing.
Gotcha.
And there were the only thing here, Daniel, or were there multiple things?
One other issue for me, I had a question about the treatment of that concrete wall back there. What are you doing with that?
Oh, the treatment of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this goes back to, we can't have concrete walls that are just raw concrete, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so typically what we do for treatment of exposed concrete walls is we do epoxy paint. That's typically what we do. And I'm
Mhm.
glad you brought that up. I don't think we've actually discussed that.
Yeah, well, that was one of the questions that I had in our previous
Mhm.
meeting, and I think you mentioned that you might cover it with the same treatment you had for the structure of the house.
Oh, the pine,
Yeah.
the wood. If yeah, we've done both.
Okay.
We've done epoxy paint to match the house body color, but like similar to what you see at 103, we do have that wood treatment on the short retaining wall next to the driveway. So yeah, we've done it both ways. Those are both typical for our builds.
Okay. Yeah, I think because it's kind of a prominent structure back there. I mean, it's obvious. I'd like to see more than just paint. I would like to see that siding.
Yep,
Um,
and that's fine. We could do that. It is behind the house. You
it
can't
is,
quite
and
see it.
and because it's such a contrast from the other brick you have there, that other
Yeah.
brick looks nice. Um, I'm assuming it's 4 feet or under, just based on the description you gave us. I think that there will be a huge problem if Joel goes there and finds that it's more.
Yeah.
If we approve this and then Joel sees it's more, there's
Yeah,
gonna
but
have.
how do we get the toothpaste back in the tube then? I mean, given that we've been wrestling with this project for a long time, I'm a lot more comfortable just denying it as submitted, with the only caveat that we have Joel determine that it's not, that the wall height is less than 4 feet. And if it is, if that's the case, then it'll be a simple approval 2 weeks from now.
Well, I want you to feel comfortable, Dan. I would feel good about that too, and I would also like a description of the covering for that concrete wall. I really, this is such an ugly space in my mind. The concrete wall and this retaining wall up against the house. So I want to ensure that it's a bad situation. We make it as good as we can. So I think maybe we should have Joel look at this and confirm, just to make sure. It's pretty clear in the drawing and the things you've given us that it is 4 foot or under. But
Mhm.
I want to make everybody comfortable with this because we have been burned. I'm not saying you, but we've had problems not being explicit in the past. So we want to make sure that we dot our i's and
I'll
cross our
make,
t's. Dan?
well, just to move it along, I'll make a motion to deny, uh, subject to review of the height of the new concrete wall.
Can
Well, I,
I have
yeah, go ahead, John. I have one other issue too.
um just real quick, it's a typo, Jay, on page 3, item 4. It says retaining walls are below a maximum of 4 inches in height.
Uh, yes,
It's just a typo.
that is a typo.
I suggest so item 4 is in contention. I suggest for all of our purposes that we go through 1, 2, and 3 so that we can kind of get those cleared up, whether those need more clarification or if we're just focusing on item 4 as the bone of contention. So if I may, item 1, home footprint will be reduced to fit our lot coverage rule while maintaining normal roof overhangs. And then Jay gives some narrative in red there. Does anybody have a comment or question about that?
Yeah, I just wanted Jay to sort of describe if it goes beyond the deck change. Did you actually change the structure of the house also?
Yes. So the well, no, I don't think so. The footprint has always been below. We've never had a problem with that. The main issue we've had is the open space lot coverage due to the deck. So that's why I zoomed in on the deck. We've actually
Right. Yeah,
never,
well, it could have been due to anything. It's just, how are
yeah,
you going to solve the problem? Yeah, I'm
yes,
glad you decided not to remove eaves because that seems like a cheap solution.
yeah,
Um,
no. I think I watched a video or read notes earlier that reducing eaves was proposed very early on, but nobody liked it, and frankly, neither do I. So yeah, we didn't have to change any of that to meet requirements.
so just reducing the size of the deck, you were able to get under that 35%.
Well, the deck actually has to do with open space coverage.
Open, yeah, open space. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's correct. Reducing.
Daniel,
Yes.
we're at 25 minutes on this, just FYI.
Okay. Thank you, Diane.
So items 1 and 2 on page 3, are there objections or further comments?
Not for me.
Anything Jay has to work on so we can kind of put those two to rest, at least theoretically right now?
I'm good.
Great. Then let's move to item 3. Garage slab elevation will be lowered sufficiently for driveway to meet profile requirements shown in Appendix A. The exhibit shows details of the site plan denoting driveway slope to be 10%. Anybody have comments or objections to this particular item?
Just tangentially related. I don't know if this is another typo or if this is a description that I'm not aware of, but under your notes for the construction entrance, riffraff, is it ever called riffraff, or is that an
Yeah.
internal joke?
What page
No,
are you on, Daniel?
It's riprap.
Okay. It's on what page is that, Chad?
And that's fine if it's
Yeah,
a typo.
it's yeah, it's just I thought maybe I was going to get an education there as to another description.
No, riffraff's something else.
Okay,
Yeah, like
So
the cartoon character.
Daniel, in the interest of moving this along, how would this work? Can we approve items 1, 2, and 3 and deny item 4, or do we have to take it as a package?
We can make a motion to approve 1, 2, and 3 of this.
I will make a motion to approve items 1, 2, and 3, along with that motion to deny item 4, subject to a review by Joel on the height of that retaining wall, and that if that retaining wall is above 4 feet, that it's going to require the structural engineering design as described in our July meeting.
And a treatment for the concrete wall.
Yes.
Correct.
Any comments on that motion?
My only comment on my motion is I want it abundantly clear that this project is not approved for occupancy or final or anything until item number 4 is resolved.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. You got it.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Jay, I feel like we're getting closer.
We are. I've got my marching orders, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Norm is back.
All right.
Okay, Norman, are you there?
Item
Can you-
10, 13 Honeycomb Lane.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, Norman is here, and let's see if we can get him.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you hear me?
All right, Norman, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good.
Are you the one we met yesterday or Tuesday?
yes.
I think so.
All right. You don't remember us?
Yeah, I do, but I didn't
It's-
remember if it was
it's-
Tuesday or yesterday.
It's the generator.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the only issue I had was I would like to ensure that there is some soundproofing around this. And I think you suggested the same treatment as you had for your garbage cans.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Soundproofing.
The soundproofing, similar to the treatment you did with the garbage cans. Not only is that a soundproofing, but also just a visual barrier. And I think that would look nice. Joe Jean, you have your hand up?
No. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Okay, stop interrupting, Joe Jean. Anybody
So-
have any other comments about this?
No, I'm just looking at the request. There's kind of 3 parts to it. One was to install the generator. I don't think anyone had an issue with that. The other one was the request to put up the sound enclosure, and I think Daniel, you just indicated that we're all in favor of that and would make that part of the request. The third issue was moving the sidewalk or the walkway over to go around the generator, which seemed appropriate. My only question there is, would that require a variance if they were going to move the sidewalk to go around the generator, which again, I think makes a lot of sense, but just to be consistent, would we require a variance to do that?
I think I'd feel better. I mean, I think Connor, I think we're okay with the notion of you redirecting your sidewalk a little bit, but just to keep the paperwork in place, it would be nice to get a variance included with the application, and that could be done with Diane for our next meeting, and merely a formality, I think, unless anybody else has any other issues about that.
I think if there's a variance request that we would also include specific dimensions and materials and so forth for the sound enclosure.
Well, a sound enclosure is not really required. What's required is that it be obscured from the street. And it's already obscured with the enclosure around the garbage cans. And as we rode around, there were quite a few other generators that you could even see from the street that had no enclosure at all. So I don't think we really need to put that requirement on him.
Yeah. As far as for the variance, I think if we decide to go with the enclosure, he described an enclosure that is appropriate for me. It's good enough for me the way he described it. So that wouldn't have to be included in the variance, but I think your sidewalk material variant would be included with the variance if we go that way. Yeah, I would feel better with some visual barrier and sound. It would be sound too. You'd still be able to see it. There's still some neighbors who would see the generator. I would feel better with that. So that's my 2 cents. Anybody else have any opinions about whether Connor needs a privacy fence barrier of some sort around his generator?
Is that a requirement that the generator include a visual obstruction barrier around it?
I don't think it's a hard fast rule in our policies, but considering all the neighbors that are nearby, fairly nearby, that is something that I would like to see.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, given the location and the particularly that the application has indicated that they would like to build a sound enclosure. I think we should accept that and make that part of our approval, is that it includes the sound enclosure or even just a wall of some sort.
Any other comments on that? Go ahead, Jojine.
I don't think that he needs a sound barrier because, like Patrick said, they're not required in our rules. The
or a visual barrier?
Pardon me?
Or a visual barrier? Just
Well,
like the trash can.
Well, he already has that there.
He has one for the trash cans, but not for the generator.
Well, the generator's only, a foot farther out than the wall. And I just don't think he needs to add another wall there.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'll third that. I think the existing screen from the street that surrounds the trash cans will adequately cover the generator as well. At least from the street.
Alan, would you make a motion and keeping in mind that we will require a variance for the sidewalk?
Okay. I'm putting it together in my head. So I'll make a motion to approve item 10 with the provision that if Norman needs to relocate the sidewalk, the walkway area, that a variance be submitted.
Any comments on that motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I will abstain.
That was
All
you,
opposed?
Daniel, that was you abstaining?
Yeah,
You're not opposed, you're just abstaining?
abstaining.
Okay.
Dan, did you? All
Yeah,
opposed?
well, yeah, I'm gonna be opposed just because he put in there that he wants to build a sound enclosure. I think he should build a sound enclosure. If you don't want to build a sound enclosure, don't include it in the application.
Okay,
So yeah, put me down as opposed.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
So I've got Joe, Jean, Patrick, and Alan.
Alan,
And then you abstained and him opposed to majority.
Yeah.
Approval. Okay, with a variance.
Right.
with the variance, yes.
And the variance is because the walkway is gonna get into the setback?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may not get elected for a second term.
Troublemaker.
I wanna make sure Norm can still talk. Norm, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're clear on, you just need to send me a variance form about
If-
the walkway. Yeah,
If I move the walkway, I need to send in for a variance.
Right.
With the
Correct.
materials, how it's going to be constructed.
Before it's constructed.
and you're talking about the walkway?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. The diversion of the path.
Yeah, and again, for me on that one, it looked pretty left, it looked like a no-brainer. I mean, there wasn't like any nearby property, anything. I just, for consistency and to track the paperwork and to make sure that what we require, we require from all.
Yes.
We would need the variance for this.
Yeah, that's a keyway that's there, which is access for utilities.
Okay. Well, good luck with your generator.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Norm. All right, let's go to Chad. Is Chad with us now, Diane?
let's see if he can talk.
Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah,
I can hear,
yes.
yes. Thank you, Chad. This is item 6, and 7, I guess.
I have 2 items, yes.
Okay, let's do 6.
The changing of the paint colors.
Yeah. My issue was that white is going to be a little stark. That's kind of a trim color white. Would you have any problem with moving that to one of our approved whites? Is there any reason why you picked that one in particular?
It's a color that our designers like to use a lot on houses, that Chantilly lace white. It's just a color they choose, and
It's we've seen it in some other houses in the neighborhood, and as a body paint, it's
it's an accent on those panels that are it's a decorative panel look.
Yeah.
So it creates an accent with the architectural.
Is there any paint similar to that on our approved body colors for Sudden Valley?
That I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think there is, and I think the reason it's not there is because it is a stark color, and it works as trim. And this is in my mind. I'm just giving my opinion. I would much prefer to see, especially if it's we're working with blacks and grays. That white is going to look real stark there in contrast, and the colors that are approved are a little bit warmer, or just have a tint of some other color just to get it off that pure white scale. Again, this is my opinion. Anybody else have any comments about that?
Yeah, I would generally agree. And also as somebody that lives in Sudden Valley, I would not want to try to maintain a white wall with the moss and everything. I think that white's going to show. It's going to show everything that tends to happen in Sudden Valley. Just as that's more of a advice free for nothing.
I think it's reasonable that they choose a house paint color that's on the approved list.
And would that be a trim color, guys?
No, not a trim color. That's body color.
body color, yes.
Trying to find your list of approved colors. Of course, I'm on your website, so it's fun to
Just-
figure your
Just
website.
go to approved paint and search and it'll give you a link. Are you there, Chad?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So
yeah, I
what
think-
I can see is a different color for the for the panel, accent panel look for the exterior.
yeah. You know, generally, I personally don't care about colors too much, and I let designers do what they want. But I have seen this white, and it really stands out in some of the houses around here. That, yeah, I think it's kind of like Dan just said, advice for nothing. And this is, you know, it's not about the green moss growing. In this case, to me, it's just visually more appealing, and that's what we look at here.
And I understand, and we know that this color scheme on other houses outside of other developments we've done has been a hot item with buyers. It's that's why our designer, I think, is leaning and looking at this and wanting to change and do this, because on a few other houses we've done it elsewhere in Whatcom County, it's during the open houses, this is the colors that the buyers tend to gravitate and want to go see the house and go look at it. And they said they love the exterior. So that's why we went towards it.
Well, I totally agree. And I think the slight change to the body paints that we're suggesting are they're gonna enhance this design. I think the design is sound. I like it, but that white, I mean, just a slight difference in tone will make a huge difference for you. You'll still have that effect. I mean, it's a really nice design. Those blacks and whites are the contrast in my mind looks amazing. But I've seen it with the sort of off-white and also with the pure white, and there's a world of difference in my mind.
Okay.
Are those fires, were they in Sudden Valley or were they elsewhere?
They were up in Linden, Blaine, Bellingham, Ferndale.
Yeah, again, take it for what it's worth. I think this is a generational taste kind of thing, that this black and white is very popular right now. But we're trying to take a longer term view, and colors come and colors go. So,
Yeah.
Well, it'll still be white. It'll still be white. It'll look white. By all appearances, it'll be black or gray, black and white, which again, I love that. But
I think again, for consistency's sake, we should require the body paint color to be from the approved list.
Okay,
I'd
but
like to see
guys,
someone make a motion to that.
I want to point out to everybody that there is no white as a approved body color on our list. The only whites that are approved are trim colors. And are you saying we have allowed others to use our trim colors as you have allowed it as body colors? Are you saying he can or cannot use an approved trim color as a body
On your
color?
list, there is a trim 3. That's why it says trim 3.
Right, the pure white. So I'm just trying to nail down what the motion is going to be, so there's no confusion. There is no whites. The only thing even close is repose gray.
Yeah, there's.
I think maybe I saw it on the Sherwin-Williams site for Sudden Valley.
That's where we're both looking at it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there are 4 trim colors that are white tones and that are approved. It's neutral ground, drift of mist, pure white, and alabaster. The other approved body colors do not have a white. Repose gray is the lightest that I'm seeing. Do you agree, Chad?
That's what I'm looking on your site and seeing that the body color number 12 repose gray.
Yeah, and it's gray.
So how would everyone feel about allowing Chad to use a trim color as a body color?
Yeah, that's fine. We've done that in other places.
So I'll make a motion to.
Hold on. I'm sorry. When I was researching, one of the equal colors is pure white equals that Chantilly lace, because it's Benjamin Moore and it's Sherman Williams. So it comes up as equal. So you might want to say you don't want them to do the prayer way.
I would, again, this is my personal preference. And because that is, there are trim colors that are already existing that, and we don't have a white, I would be willing to just let him do what he wants. This is kind of like what Dan said about the moss advice, for nothing. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I would much prefer to see a warmer color on there next to the black, but I'm perfectly willing to go with that. I thought I saw a couple of different whites that were not pure white in the body color somewhere. That's my journey here, but it's not a huge issue for me, but it is sort of a personal pet peeve when I see the pure white as a body color. So
Do we have,
All section of the property, the house, it's not the whole house.
do we have an existing motion right now?
No.
we do not.
Okay, then I move that we approve the paint color as shown.
I'll
Under-
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Item 7. This is the same property, right, Chad?
Yes, the same
Okay.
property.
So what are you're adding a new wall or changing the wall? I'm not
So in lieu of having to do a gigantic, tall concrete retaining wall we had first proposed and running out of time with the delays of trying to get this project started and running into the watershed, we had came up with a design that allowed us to do the backfill in the time to do a balanced backfill, but use approved ecology blocks that are cobblestone looking and do just under 4-foot tiering as we go up to balance the backfill so that it's not like a big gigantic concrete wall and a drop off to the bottom of the property like that was first proposed. So with the change, we did this for structurally to get rid of the retaining wall, but also to balance and make that lot not look like a big cavity. Because there was a concern at one time about having a tall concrete wall, having to paint it, scratch coat it, landscape it, do stuff. But we came up with this to allow us to be able to backfill in time and get it structurally sound to where it all fills up with the structural fill, but tiered up. So it's not like dramatic dropping.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we would have had a 14-foot tall concrete retaining wall on that side like we have on the other side, which we had to have because there's no room on the opposite property side to do something like this. That's why that was required to have a concrete retaining wall.
Yeah.
And this one, we did this and we're trying to, well, a lot of it was logistics of the timing of having only a few days, about 4 days to do a backfill to meet the Lake Whatcom watershed shut off to get backfilled, secured, and the erosion control and still make it look like a very nice property and followed up with what you guys accept as in normally would like to see if we were going to do something like this.
Okay. Anybody have any issues with it?
My only comment was this work's already been done, right? So we're actually approving this after the fact? Is that not correct?
Chad?
Yes, this work was done at the time of to get it done. There was not a time to get into a meeting and time to do it because otherwise we would have bypassed the miss. And then we realized after doing this, wait, we have to do a change because it's part of the landscape change and exterior change. So I instantly went out, took the pictures and resubmitted for this because we ran into this on another property where we did a change, but did not realize it was that had to be required. So I immediately, as soon as we did this change and said, oh, I got to get into Sudden Valley and get this done, get this taken care of and show what we're doing and see what happens.
Is that something you generally talk to Joel about first, or how does that happen?
Well, it came into the understanding the timing and trying to get our engineer that we've been battling with, trying to even communicate with, takes weeks to get back of how we can rectify this. And we looked at a system that, understanding what you in your rules of what you accept for look, how about retaining walls and look. So we grabbed these and went and got this, and then was under the gun of the Lake Whatcom watershed shut off of $1,000 fine a day if not having it buttoned up and not being able to. So we chose to accelerate to get this done, and then get this into you guys and say, I'm sorry, I had a very good reason why we circumvented and went quicker on getting this done instead of coming to you guys, because we knew if we didn't get this done, that project would sit and he'd have a vacant hole until June again, because we could not do anything, backfill, do anything to it or anything until June again.
Okay.
Daniel, what's the Sudden Valley's policy on doing construction changes prior to the request being approved?
Well,
There's a fine.
There's a fine for that?
Yes.
yeah. Admin usually works through all that and with the builders. So
We'll let that, you guys figure that out.
Yeah.
The plans show a 4-foot wall. It looks like the drawings, unless those are more than 12-inch blocks, appear to be a 4-foot wall, but just given that we beat up Sovereign Homes,
we're losing you, Dan.
earlier about the 4-foot wall. Jack, can you hearing design the additional wall?
They are
kind of in a bad area.
They're less than 4 foot from top to bottom finished.
Okay, yeah, it looks like that. I just wanted to get that on record that it is less than 4 feet, so that one did not require any engineering or permitting.
Correct. And they are the interlocking ecology blocks that if you wanted to, you can do 10, 12, 14 foot tall walls if you wanted to, with engineering obviously and the permits. But these are locking and locked into and partly buried to create the under 4 foot.
How are those topped off, Chad?
Pardon me?
How are those blocks topped off? It's hard to tell from the photo.
Well, the one at the road, the one at the driveway will have a curb and driveway port on top of it, locking it into the driveway.
Oh, okay.
And the other ones, we do have some capping we can get for it, but we didn't do it at that time. We need to make sure we get the right decorative looking cap. The ones that shear down underneath are underneath the bridge walkway, that walks from the driveway to the front door.
Yeah.
And so they're hidden, and we can clean them up and make them look good at landscape and final prepping around them.
Okay.
Again, we try to get out of there so we're not messing up a bunch of dirt, because Whatcom County really likes to go after us when we're doing that. And we don't want to make a mess.
No.
And that's like the logistics nightmare.
Any other issues?
Chad, may I ask if there's a plan to build some kind of fence or on the right side of the driveway there, where it goes from 98 feet down to 92 feet, and then also where your concrete or your block retaining wall is, that's 4 feet tall? Is there a plan to make some kind of fence to keep people from falling over that stuff?
Yes, when we go to pour the driveway and put a final curbing, we will be, like we did at 12 Sunflower and like we did at 14 Sunflower, we will be putting a handrail up, cable railing as a barrier, safety barrier on the left-hand side of it, and then tying in down the right-hand side to the raised deck walkway will be a handrail tied to that.
And is that a part of the original design that was approved?
Yes, it was. It's been in. We already were going to have to do a railing, and on the original permitting and everything, it was a railing on top of that of the retaining wall on each side of the driveway, tying into the decking walkway.
Great, thank you.
So nothing changed on that. It's just the look of the actual infrastructure of the right-hand wall.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. I move to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, guys.
All,
Now you have
all
a-
opposed? Okay, Chad, I just wanted to clarify, sorry about the confusion about the paint. I was looking at the trim colors, and my personal opinion, if you use one of the trim colors in, our approved trim colors, that's what I was looking at. And I think any of those would, and I compared it to the, Chantilly white, but this is just on the website, and the Chantilly white to me looked much starker. I would not like to see it. I would feel better with one of the other ones here, but that's your call. We're good with what you
we use
decide.
the more color.
What your designer decides. Well, thank you, Chad.
And have her make sure. That's why I presented those colors, the renderings.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to tell on the computer, but I do like the ones that we have as trim color. Any one of those would have worked for me for that white section. So you're good. I just wanted to clarify what my point was.
I understand.
Okay, thanks, Chad. Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, how about an easy one? Item 3.
Do we have more people waiting
No,
in the wings? Item
no,
15 and 16? No?
nope. We did 15 and 16 already.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yep.
So item 3.
You're not even a member, John. Keep it down.
No way, man.
I'll make a motion to approve item 3 as submitted.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Number 4. This is a similar one. We went and visited this property. We got a one branch that's a little bit bigger than what we wouldn't require ACC approval. It's over 6 inches. I think we're good with that one. Is that this one? There's so many tree removals. Oh yeah, there was one limbing of a tree and one removal, and the removal is one that was leaning quite a bit. Any comments on this one?
I make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, number 5.
Unless there's further argument or discussion, I have motion to approve item 5 as submitted.
Yeah, it's a good submission. We've got an arborist report or approval from Whatcom County and a nice drawing. So, and we've got a motion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 8. 11 Oval Court.
Yeah, that was interesting. I look forward to seeing how this is going to work out, but from what we saw when we went on Tuesday, I will make a motion to approve item 8.
Yeah, the only question I had, and there's a line here. Result in the deck being elevated, although there is no actual change in the deck's vertical position. Did anybody make any sense from that?
Yeah, Daniel, if you look at page 2 of 2,
Yeah.
that's probably the best description of that. You can see, I think at one point they planned on building up that pad and then having it just be the porch, the walk-in entryway, and then kind of like a pad area. And it was all going to be on the same elevation. And then if you look at the proposed, I think they're proposing to take down that grass area is now going to be dropped down which then eliminates the landing area for their patio, which now becomes a deck instead.
Okay,
Yeah,
And that's
Hold
why
on.
they wanted to do that garden terrace underneath the deck instead of
Right.
just grass there.
yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it actually is a better look, and for future parking in the driveway is probably eliminating what they were going to do there is better. So, and I don't think the builders here, but I appreciate the fact that they're requesting this ahead of time instead of after the fact.
agreed.
Yeah. Did you make a motion, Alan?
I did.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Item 11.
This is where we met, and as John eloquently said, neither the homeowner or the neighbor are going to be here, so, but I will make a motion to approve item 11.
May I just add something quickly, Alan?
Sure.
Hey, John. Good.
I just wanted to mention, we showed up, one of the homeowners came out, his name is Brad. And as we were standing out there, the neighbor at 30 Honeycomb Lane by the name of Carrie Moore came out and asked if she could be part of that discussion. I just wanted to go on the record that she was there. And I asked her for correct spelling of her name. It's Kari, Kari Moore, Moore. And essentially, we had a nice amicable discussion with her. She said she was okay with the 60-foot split rail fence a foot from the property line. And it seems as if the homeowner, Brad, and Kari, the neighbor, are in agreement about this particular fence request.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, John. I do want to emphasize that there is a variance request for this, and the whole situation is that we looked at the whole situation when we made this consideration, and we had a good discussion, and I think it is the case where a good fence makes a good neighbor. I think it solved some problems that they were having, and yeah, I was so happy that she came out and talked to us because it sounded like they both just needed to talk it through, and this is a really good solution. And also, this is a split rail, which isn't quite as imposing as a hog wire to offer a variance for. So I'm happy that with the way this concluded.
And just to be clear, the neighbor Kari Moore is aware of what a split rail fence looks like because she pointed to the backyard, Brad's backyard, and said, just like that one that they have in their backyard.
Yeah, so it's good to have the whole group there talking to neighbors, and we worked through it. So
Back to you, Alan.
was there a motion, Alan?
There
Did we have-
was excellent context and background. Thank you very much. I will repeat a motion to approve item 11 as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item 12 for the variance.
Move to-
To approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay.
Is that Patrick?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Item 13, 17 Canyon Court. It's the driveway we went and looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely needs some work. I think
Yeah, this one
I think
was
we like
this one was clear that that center section needed to be repaired, and that putting in that concrete berm or flue there to divert the sheet flow off the driveway from the yard was a good addition. So I didn't have any issue with this.
We did visit this site, and we are all in agreement that the repair area, as described on page 1, is definitely needs to be repaired. The porch landing as well, and that the homeowner came out, Jim Wheeler, and we had a brief discussion with him He thinks that the concrete berm, which is going to go pretty much the entire length of the driveway on the left-hand side, will be a foot or less. It's just really meant to guide rainwater down to the culvert area and so forth. So I think it was a good discussion, and everything in my mind looks pretty good with this submission.
All right, is there a motion?
I move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item 14, this is 185A Polo Park Drive. This person has a lot of alders that are, I guess, dying, leaning, roots exposed. And they gave us some good reference and we got an arborist report, and it looks like they want to cut down the number of trees.
20 trees.
Remove 11 and limb 2. I guess they're going to do a habitat pole for that, for the other 2. And as mitigation, they are suggesting a replanting of native trees, as recommended by the arborist. So I would like to hold them to that mitigation. In my mind, these trees probably do need to come down. I've got some red alders on my property, and I understand how they just kind of fall over until they, or lean over until they fall. Any other issues on this?
Just a slight clarification. I'm not sure that the numbers match up exactly between page 1, the number of trees and to be removed, but just a clarification. The arborist report shows 20 trees that were assessed, and they were all assessed at high risk. That's all. But I think
Some of those are on Sudden Valley property, which is why Mike Brock was involved.
gotcha.
And Mike Brock has already given a permission for the homeowner to include the Sudden Valley trees as part of the removal. But that doesn't need to come to the ACC.
Sun Valley will take care of those trees, Diane?
Yeah, the homeowner is going to take care of them, and the appropriate paperwork is already in order and done for the homeowner to go on Sudden Valley property and remove the remaining 7 trees.
So the homeowner's taking down the trees on Sudden Valley property?
Correct.
Got it. Thank you for the clarification.
So in my mind, I would approve this, but does everybody feel that the mitigation described in the arborist report is appropriate? Or does anybody have any other issues about that?
And the mitigation is what again? I'm trying to find it.
Replant with native conifers, page 10 of 15.
Does it give a number of trees?
A spacing of trees.
What of trees?
A spacing of 12 feet.
Okay.
So it's pretty clear in the mitigation description. Do you want to include that? Does everybody feel okay about including that?
Mitigation?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, so I would move to approve with the stipulation that the mitigation described in the arborist report is adhered to. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That's unanimous, right? All right, item 17, right? Is that one we have left?
Correct.
And 18.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I start the discussion?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I just want to mention that I can see that the homeowner, Jeff Sani, has really made a concerted effort to improve his submissions, especially compared to recent ones, and adding very detailed, well, much more details, like on page 2 and 3. And I'm sure the committee appreciates that particular effort. I also wanted to mention that all 6 of us visited the 68 Marigold Drive location this past Tuesday. And with that, I have some additional comments, so bear with me for a moment, please.
Go ahead, John.
I think the committee needs more details. So given, he did a good job of providing details, but I think the submission really should be a construction change request, because we had previously approved this deck and hot tub scenario, and now he's asking for changes to that submittal. So let's put a pin in that.
That form is for building construction that Joel works with, and Joel is not involved with this project.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the exterior alteration. I think that covers it.
Okay, I'm just wondering if he needs a building permit and plumbing permits, whether that requires that really falls into the construction change. But anyway, that's sort of a little bit.
Yeah, I see where you're getting, John. It is looking more and more. This project seems to be snowballing, and we're going back and forth between the front treatment and the porch treatment. And I have to say that my original agreement to the original design, changing the porch, was based on what he described he would be doing on the lower end. In my mind, this is now sort of a big showcase for a hot tub that will be, 15 feet above the street. It's a very prominent property, and we're presenting a hot tub without any kind of screening at all, and actually no fencing until he finally finishes phase 2. So that's my biggest concern. If we approve this and then we're still talking about what the front is going to look like at the end of the day, and we try to look at these projects as an overall piece. How is this going to look finished? And I think that my ideas about what he's doing on the porch right now have changed, considering what is going on in the bottom below, just because of how prominent it will be now. I would definitely insist on having some sort of privacy screen around this hot tub at the very least. Any other comments about this submission as it exists?
I have a few.
Go ahead, John.
If I were voting, I would deny this with the comments that he mentions on page 5 that he would like to drain the hot tub to an existing catch basin via a hose. That is explicitly prohibited by Whatcom County to drain anything other than stormwater to the stormwater system. So,
and just as a quick aside, John, I don't think our committee ever suggested that he needs to use salt water in this, which is what I'm reading from his description. I'm not sure why that's in there, but
anything salt water or chemical water, bromide and chlorine, is forbidden to be drained to the stormwater system in Whatcom County. So there's that. I would like to see a resubmission with a plan to drain the hot tub to the sanitary sewer. I would like to see whatever Whatcom County building and plumbers permits he has, which is required by the ACC policy 14.6.7. I also think there may be some setback issues for the new proposed stairs on the left of the deck. Therefore, I would like to see a site plan with property lines and setbacks with dimensions. And I think he needs to submit detailed dimensions of the stairs on the left of the hot tub, which are not there, how tall they are, how wide they are, etc. And then as Dan said, I think we need to see a submission with a privacy fence or some kind of screening materials and details and dimensions. And then also completely absent from this submission is the 3 concrete pillars that are holding up the upper deck that have been partially excavated. I think we need to see some details on what's going on there, why they're partially excavated, and what the plan is for building the deck around that. And then also
Diane, I'm
some
sorry, John.
additional-
Diane, did you say that Joel is not involved in this at all?
No,
Okay.
And then finally,
he might need to be. We could have him assess it for tier construction, but I don't think it's tier construction, but we can have him look at it.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like it. I'd like them to at least look at it.
and an email
Review.
to us, it was pretty clear to me that he was saying that he thinks that he needs a building permit because of the structural stuff going on with between the proposed deck and the upper concrete pillars, the 3 pillars. And then finally, I'd like to see some description of what's going on with that leaning concrete wall that was either partially or completely demolished. That is now not at all visible. It's been covered. Whatever is there or was demolished and removed or partially removed. So I think quite a few things that the homeowner still needs to provide to us.
But the upshot of what you're saying is we're going to deny this with all of those factors.
That would be my recommendation.
I could see that, and that's why I'd like Joel to look at this, and maybe he could dismiss a lot of these issues that we have, and we can just look at this thing aesthetically. I mean, I would definitely want to see some sort of fence around this, some privacy screen. And we had a lot of questions about the structure of this deck, the pillars, and also we were looking at a catch basin for water. I assume that's where the hot tub drain was going to go, but I'm not sure what the point of that was. I think Dan pointed that out to us. So we still have a lot of questions, and I'm not sure if Diane, can he just review all this stuff to see what the questions are? Can we give Joel a list of these things? How should we? We've got a big laundry list here.
If you deny it, on those points, I'll list all those points. Before I send it to him, I will talk to Joel about whether it is tier construction.
Okay.
At this point.
Do you need us to reiterate these points, or can we just deny it?
I wrote down every point. The one I missed one, something about a permit with the upper and lower deck, but I can go back and listen to it.
Okay.
But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My missing one would be 7
I've got 6
and 8. So I've got 8. I've got draining the hot tub into the sewer, asking for permits per 1467, stairs on the left setback, dimension of the stairs, privacy screening with details dimensions, 3 concrete pillars partially excavated and finished detail, then the one I don't know, and then leaning concrete wall demolished and covered. I mean, those are my notes. I'll wordsmith it, of course. John, what was the one that I'm missing? Something about permits with the top and bottom deck.
Oh, I just say, I would like to see if he has pulled permits. He certainly has to pull one for the electricity of the electrical outlet that was that comes around the corner there for the hot tub. But what other permits that he either has or is required to have for Whatcom County building and plumbing?
So that's along with your citation of 1467.
Correct.
Okay, so that's 1. So I have 7 then.
I think you covered them quite well. Thank you.
I think it would be good if you were available to meet with us, kind of go over some of these things. It would certainly help us.
Yeah, across the board, it would be nice to meet with this owner. We've got a lot of questions.
He's got engineers reports and everything for the retaining walls and so forth, and another laundry list of things that we need from him. So we will be back at least a couple of times for this particular property.
Did y'all vote?
We don't have a motion yet. Just, I guess, a motion to deny as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
That was, Daniel, that was a motion to deny as submitted with the intent captured in John's comments or John's list, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
All opposed? Okay. Item 18. So we're looking at dates for our last meetings. So right now we're slated to have one on the 21st of November and one on the 5th of December, and then TBD for anything else. I mean,
What about the 19th
I don't-
of December?
I don't think we need another one in December. And there's a lot of stuff usually going on in December. So we would have 2 more meetings this year. Would that be enough, or does somebody feel like we need to have another one for the end of December?
You're speaking of the 19th, Thursday the 19th?
Yeah. Right, that's the third Thursday, so normally it would be a meeting.
I would think, Daniel, I would think that would be plenty. I mean, if there's an emergency that Diane determines is an absolute emergency, we could always convene another second meeting in December real quick if we needed to, but I would prefer to keep the dates clear if we can. There's enough going on around the holidays.
Yeah. Anybody have any objection to just having the 2 more meetings as they're written in the website, being the 21st and then the 5th of December? Okay. We get a motion to, I guess the motion is to have, do we have to make a motion for the meetings that are already announced, Diane?
They're
No,
already,
It would be to not have the meeting on the 19th.
Okay, the motion is to not have the meeting on December 19th and just have 2 more meetings for this year. All in favor?
aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, Dan.
Everybody at Joe Jean's.
Hey, Dan, real quick.
Do we need to adjourn first or what?
Oh, not really.
Okay,
Just
go
for
ahead.
the record, you will take my nomination to the next board meeting. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Which is next Thursday.
Which is next Thursday. Yes.
So I'll be back in making good decisions.
Yeah, I think you've already been approved by the admin. I think so. Unless there's some problem we have with you, I will present you to the board.
Thank you.
All right, so this meeting is adjourned at 10:41.